You're listening to That Teacher podcast, hosted by me, Alyssa McDonald. I'm that teacher who decided enough was enough and started an online business to fund my own 2-year maternity leave from my teaching job. This journey has been life-changing, bringing me opportunities to lead and grow in ways I never thought possible. Now, I'm on a mission to help other educators, moms, and impact-focused entrepreneurs find ways to build the online business of their dreams so they can have the time freedom and financial freedom they deserve. So grab a cup of coffee and let's bring your wildest dreams to life. Can we talk about Reesa Teesa? This is so good. My marketing brain has been just working on overtime thinking about Reesa Teesa. Now, if you have not seen this series on TikTok, I apologize for all the time you're about to lose watching it, especially if you are a reality TV show fan like I am. It's basically reality TV on TikTok. It more closely resembles like a podcast series. Like, you know how you can listen to like a true crime podcast? I listen to Scamanda. That's another great podcast that will totally take up all of your time. But it's sort of like a series. And this is just done on TikTok. Now, Reesa Teesa created this series about her marriage. It's called Who TF Did I Marry? I'm not going to say what the real name is out loud in case you have kids in the car. And there are 50 something parts to her TikTok series. Each video is about 10 minutes long, and she is detailing her wild marriage to someone who turns out to be, you know, you can guess that there's a whole swirl of events that take place before she figures out who he really is. He is a pathological liar, and she takes you through all of their relationship together, details that I definitely would not remember. And she has a wonderful, wonderful storytelling talent. And these views have earned her 1 million followers in a week. They have gotten views anywhere from 1.8 million per video to 22.5 million per video. If she is earning money for each video, it's estimated if she is earning $1 per 1,000 views, which is the TikTok creator program number. I think that's as high as it goes. That'd be roughly $150,000 from this series she created. Now, it is a couple of hours of content. Like, it's pretty significant when you think about it. 10 minutes each, 50 videos. She's also gone live 17 times, which also additionally might pay her upwards of like $18,000 from what I'm reading. And it's pretty amazing. It's a pretty big event in the world of content creation. And it's not a big event in the case, like, I'm not saying that you should go create a viral series where you get 1 million followers. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we can take a look at what Reesa Teesa has done so well in this series, and we can replicate some of that in our own content creation for our Instagram or our TikTok or even our emails or our live events that we hold. And we can take some of these things that are showing that they really work with today's audience, and we can apply them to our own business. So I'm dying to do this breakdown of what I think she is doing right. Of course, I was thinking about it as I was watching the whole series. Now, I'm only on maybe I stopped at 41 last night, and that is because I had to go to sleep. But I have been watching these videos straight through. I put them up, I mirrored them up to my TV so that I could watch like while I was eating and stuff like that, like a real show. And I spent hours each night watching these. So it's been really entertaining. And what's really cool is kind of the whole world is watching, and it feels like we're all in this together, which is fun. It's a very pop culture moment. What do I think Reesa Teesa did right in Who TF Did I Marry, the series? I think the anticipation, and this is pretty easy to see, but in every video in her series, she says something like, in part 41, I will tell you about why he went to jail. She has this like very predictable format in which she creates these videos, and that's always sort of the ending of one video. She's always leaving people hooked and getting them to pay attention to the next episode. How could this translate to your own business? I think this works really well as a piece of advice for email marketing. Could you tease what you're going to talk about next week in your emails if you're that organized? Or in your podcast, could you tease what the next episode is going to be about at the end? Even in your content creation, could you create a mini series on a topic where at the end you are just sort of previewing what's going to be in the next video? That anticipation is something that is really important now because we're trying to build a loyal fan base, not just people who come and look at our video one time or look at our page one time or read one of our emails. We're trying to cultivate a situation in where our potential customers are coming back and returning to us again and again. I have a bookmark folder both on TikTok and Instagram called Regulars, and I save videos from people that I want to check back in on. And you bet that Reesa Teesa is in that bookmark folder because I want to see, does she get to London and Paris? And you'll know what that means when you watch the series. Does she actually get to go? I won't give like too many spoilers, but basically her pathological liar husband prints out an itinerary for London and Paris and says they're going to go, and they don't end up going, and she really wanted to go. So now she's saying that with the money she's earned from the videos, she's going to go take that trip. You better bet I'm going to stay tuned. And she's live. I am there. I need to see what's going on. That anticipation is key in marketing. The next thing I think she does really, really well is she mixes live with asynchronous. And I don't know if she really did this purposefully. I don't think she could have predicted the success. I don't think she meant for it to be what it has become. I think she's just naturally talented and did some things that really worked really well. One of them was mixing this asynchronous with synchronous. So she has this 50-part series, which is asynchronous. You can watch it at your own pace. You can watch on your own time. It's all pre-recorded. But she's also going live. Now that she's released the whole series, she announces when she's going to be live. She's clear about what time. She is the most clear and detailed person ever. She's clear about what time she's going to go live. She goes live. And so there is a live feeling about her content, even though everything she posts is not live. And you can do that too. You can mix together live experiences for your people along with these asynchronous experiences. And the lives feel a little like a club because it feels like everybody who's in the live has gone through her asynchronous content or at least started it. And so we're all in this little club together, and that's a really great way to build community. I would encourage you to think about how you could mix lives in with some of your content over the next couple of weeks. Could you go live to answer some frequently asked questions that you get on your Instagram page, or hold a live coffee chat with some of your members if you have a membership? How can you add these community-based live experiences and layer them into your marketing? The next thing I think she does really well is this feeling of we're in this together. Now, this is related to that live or community feeling, but it is a very pop culture moment. You can go on TikTok and see all the other people who are also watching her series and what they have to say about it. It felt like it was exciting enough that I wanted to talk about it with my friends. I was seeking out what other people were saying about this series because I wanted to share it and I wanted to give my opinion and see what others' opinions were. That's because it's like a really hot topic. It's really popular right now. She has created her own relevant topic. You can mimic this in your own marketing by talking about hot topics, relevant topics, and pulling your audience in to bring their opinions in, to get them to share with their friends and bring their friends' opinions in. This can look like content that encourages people to tag their friends or encourages them to drop their opinion, or just really touches on a topic that gets people talking. Could be a pop culture topic, could be a debatable topic that is happening in your niche right now, could be just like a trending new thing that people are talking about in your niche. But this we're in this together feeling comes from talking about a topic that's on the minds of a lot of people. Like right now, this podcast. I think a lot of my listeners probably have heard of this series at this point or are going to after this episode. And so having a podcast around this common topic, I'm hoping will get more people to listen, right? We're in this together. I love that it feels like we're on FaceTime with her. She shows up in her pajamas. She shows up on her way to work. She shows up while she's sitting in traffic. She's just taken us right along her life with her, and she doesn't apologize for it. It's nothing like that. It's like we just picked up the phone and FaceTimed with our best friend. She also speaks to us, to you. I think I'm her best friend. She speaks to us in the same way that I assume she speaks to her friends. This is why I say it. I don't think her storytelling, I don't think she sat there and outlined this series or thought through every little thing she was going to say. That's just her personality. She is detailed. She is hysterical. She's like, every word she says is gold. I mean, I was screaming at different parts of the episode. My husband was in the other room and he was like, what is going on? She had me like rolling at some of the funny things she said or gasping at different parts. So not only the storytelling, but just that feeling of like, this is her true personality. This is not contrived. This is not her trying to show up like everybody else. This is not a polished version of who she is. This is who she is. And she is getting vulnerable. She even says in there, I will tell you the truth. I will always tell you the truth, even if it makes me look bad. She repeats that. That is trust, like at its core. So she's gained our trust as an audience through those just very authentic actions. And I don't know that I can give you like a concrete piece of advice on how to mimic that other than like just show up as who you are. I've been talking about how I'm having trouble with polished content on this podcast because I like to just show up and riff on like what I'm thinking about when it comes to marketing. For example, this podcast episode, this is exactly my zone of genius. I just need to let go of showing up polished. I need to let go of like, some people aren't going to like this kind of content. That's fine. I'm not a polished podcast person. And that authenticity is going to call in your people. It's going to bring in the right kinds of people. And for her, it certainly did. So feeling like we're on FaceTime with you, bringing in your voice, bringing in the authentic phrases that you particularly use, or she uses like metaphors and analogies and just stuff that will just crack you up. But you can tell that's her true personality. Show that side of yourself that resonates with your people. Another thing I love about what she did is she was so careful about how she presented the content. Oftentimes when I watch a series on TikTok, and maybe I'm just overly critical, but I get annoyed when people get distracted by the comments on each video in the series and they keep bringing up the comments. And she doesn't do that. It's almost as if she doesn't look at the comments in between, but she does, because every once in a while she'll create like an interlude to the series where she stops and just answers questions. So if you didn't want to hear her answer the comments, you could skip that interlude. I thought that was so purposeful and just really a nice touch, since I wanted to watch kind of uninterrupted, and I wasn't even really looking at the comments. I'll probably go back and watch it a second time and look at the comments. But what I think we can take from this with our own marketing, especially if you are a TikTok creator, you need to look at what the majority of your audience is saying and answer those questions and make those changes. But you can't worry about what Joe said, Joe 845239 said, that had nothing to do with what anyone else is saying. And that happens a lot on TikTok. They're like, look, Joe 82539 asks why my cup was blue. And so I'm going to make this video to explain why my cup was blue. Well, if everybody wasn't asking why your cup was blue, then don't answer the question. Not only because it's obviously like, bothering you, and that's okay. It's okay to be bothered by it. But like, if we all took the time and I guess spent our valuable time answering the question of one person or trying to meet the need of just one person in our audience, it's not something that we can keep up with. And it sometimes can turn away the people that would have been fine without it. Let me give you an example to prove my point. When Teacher Hustle University was on like year 3, I was feeling a lot of pressure to go off of Facebook. Why? Because I had like 1 or 2 people who said that they weren't checking Facebook, therefore they weren't getting the notifications, or they didn't join the membership because they didn't have Facebook. And I switched the whole group over to Circle. I saw some other entrepreneurs were using Circle. Like I thought it could work for me. I have a really engaged, amazing community that shows up. And I thought that they would like Circle better. I didn't ask them. I didn't ask what the majority wanted. I just went with what I heard from these handful of people. And I do like to try to make everybody happy. So of course, why wouldn't I just toss the whole thing in the air and start over again, because it would make a couple people happy. Well, in the end, my entire group was not thrilled with the switch. And I eventually switched back because I wanted to pull my community back together in a place where they felt safe and where they were checking and, what they liked. But it came down to the fact that if I would have listened to the majority of the group instead of trying to please everybody, that I actually would have done better. Would have made a better decision. So I think what we can take from that is that I'm sure Reesa Teesa is seeing all of the comments, and I'm sure she's getting a million questions, and she's choosing to answer the ones that are most frequently asked, which means she's listening to the majority of her community and letting that drive her decisions. But she's fairly confident in her decisions too, by the way. She is not going to veer off her course just because there's a bunch of questions coming in. I love the title. Who TF did I marry? And she repeats it in every episode. That is just title gold. It's not trying to be clever like marriage mishaps. It is mysterious because who did she marry? It is accurate and clear. It's a bit shocking or surprising. And I just love it. I love everything about that. I love the way she says it. And she says it the same way in every episode. It's great. And then I think the last thing we can take from her, although I'm sure I'll think of more after this episode is over, is that our content does really well right now in 2024 in short bursts for a longer duration. Does that make sense? So these 10-minute videos in the 50-part series are obviously something that audiences are craving. The content isn't 15-second content. It's not voicing over a trending sound. It's not doing a dance. And not to say that those things aren't trending right now, but I definitely think there's an opportunity, especially for those of you like me who like to do longer, educational, off-the-cuff style videos, to try this. Try doing a longer informational video or a longer storytelling video. Try to put a mini series together. See if these short bursts of information in it, connected sort of series, might work for your content. If it fits your personality, if your audience likes it, it seems like it's doing well right now and it's going to have its moment. And that's my kind of prediction. There are quite a few things we can take from this really cool moment in pop culture and marketing and platforms and the new way that we will probably consume entertaining content. I don't know if we can say goodbye to Netflix just yet because I'm still watching Love is Blind, but it's definitely a cool new way to consume content, and I have enjoyed breaking it down. I hope you took a tip or two from this podcast episode that you can take and use in your marketing this week. I'll see you in the next episode. And if I knew what it was about, I would tell you, but I don't. Okay, maybe email marketing. Okay, see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to That Teacher Podcast. I have a lot of resources for you in the show notes. Make sure you subscribe to my Monday mixtapes and tune in here to the podcast to learn more business and marketing